On every inspection, there's something that they're really glad that I've found and pointed out just at the beginning to give them a sense of relief that, you know, there's something that's found that they're going to be able to address or get fixed and know that that's not going to cause a problem further down the road.
We will bring on a friend of mine, Spencer Clark, with Town & Country Home Inspections, to give us a little bit of insight into exactly what goes into an inspection, what you should look for, and when you should get one. Spencer, thank you for being here.
You bet. Thank you, Cameron.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. We were worried we might not see you this morning, and I'm really glad that we were able to.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to make things work and get over to see you and all your fans. So
I appreciate it. So Town & Country Home Inspections. How long have you been doing Town & Country?
I've been doing Town & Country for 2 years now. Things are going really well. Got a lot of momentum, so real excited to just keep moving on and
That's
helping all the clients out.
And you know, we were talking a little bit before how a lot of it is you answer your phone. You actually answer your phone, you respond, you return calls, and you're a human.
Yeah, it's amazing. You got to answer your phone. You got to talk to people if you want to do business. You got to be there. People call, and if you're not there, then they're going to go down the list to the next person. And in this industry right now, it's very busy, and people need to get their inspection done, get their due diligence done, and find out what they need to do on the home, if it's a home that they want to buy, once they find out what condition it's in, or if it's something they need to pass on and move on and look at something else.
That's yeah. So when someone is looking at doing a home inspection, what would you say are some of the most common things that you find doing it? What are the common issues that a house may have? Really
common issue around here, like on the west side of the valley, is just rain gutters. You got to get the water away from the house. The water is a big issue for homeowners. Anyone that owns a home probably knows that water can cause a lot of damage. It can get into your basement, and you just need to help that water shed off the roof and then get away from the house and the foundation so it doesn't get back in and cause any issues that can lead to big repairs, mold, remediation. So I'd say rain gutters is one of the biggest things that I see.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. With when we moved into our current house, the drainage was all messed up. All the water was draining to the house,
yeah.
Like into the house. And so part of our basement would flood pretty much every time it rained. And so I took a look at it and kind of figured it out. And so I added some pipe to the downspout and redirected the water from the downspout instead of going right into that window to actually move it over. Is that the sort of thing that would be?
That is exactly what I'm talking about. It's just people have a rain gutter, they have a downspout, and it drains 6 inches away from their home, and then there's the water right there, and there's window wells, like you say, so they need to get that water 5 to 6 feet away from the house so it can drain into the yard and get back into the groundwater or run out to the storm drain system and keep it away from the house. And it's a very simple, easy fix. Do it yourself, get the product over at Lowe's and get it fixed. But if you don't get it, then you find out and it's thousands of dollars later. So it's kind of like a stitching time, saves 9. But I give my clients a home maintenance book, and I try and educate them during the walkthrough on that's something that they're going to want to watch for. And I advise them when they get a good rainstorm, put on your raincoat or an umbrella and go walk around your house and see how the water sheds off your house and see what the problems could be, and it could save you a lot of money and heartache down the road.
It's really interesting to me that's kind of the number one thing is the rain gutters and the downspouts.
Well, it's something that's very simple, but it's overlooked. And it can cause a big problem. Like I say, it's people don't think about it, but the water's got to come off the roof and then go away, and it's going to go where it's going to go. So just help direct it downhill away from your house.
So I think a lot of people wouldn't even realize that's something that would be checked in a home inspection. Are there other things that are surprising to people that you end up checking?
from all sorts of walks, people go in and they look, there's things they see, but they're surprised when I find something that's maybe right in front of them that they didn't see. You know, they go and look at a house and maybe they are in there for 15 or 20 minutes. I go in, I'm in the home for several hours, and then meet with them for a half hour or so at the end and show them the major components of the home, the shutoffs, and they start seeing things and they're surprised that they missed it, or you know, maybe they had their dad with them or a brother-in-law that is in the industry, and they're just surprised that they didn't see it, that it's something that's right there in front of them. Like sometimes faucets just don't even work, and they, you know, they're not turning on faucets and flushing toilets, but when we go through, we're checking everything, and you know, I like to let the faucets run for a good amount of time and make sure that everything's going to work, and give the drains an opportunity to back up if they're going to. So, yeah, I don't know about what surprises most people, but usually on every inspection, there's something that they're really glad that I've found and pointed out just at the beginning, to give them a sense of relief that, you know, there's something that's found that they're going to be able to address or get fixed, and know that that's not going to cause a problem further down the road.
I mean, it sounds like you do a very thorough job. Now, is that typical for a home inspection? Is that what most home inspectors are going to go in and do? Yeah,
I would say that most home inspectors are going to follow a similar scope of service. There's two major certification companies that most home inspectors have gone through, and the scope of the inspection is generally going to be the same. Now, depending on your home inspector, they may go above and beyond the scope of the inspection and get on the roof, for example, or just look at it from the ground or a ladder. But depending on the effort that your home inspector gets, I think will depend a lot on the quality of your inspection and the report that you get. The report you get, excuse me.
Oh, no worries. So an inspection then is very different from an appraisal, where an appraisal, they're trying to figure out how much the house can and should sell for, or what a fair price is for the home. But an inspection is more about just making sure everything in the home functions as advertised, correct?
Yeah, an inspection is like a snapshot of that home that day and at that time. It tells you the condition of the home, if there's any defects, if there's things that need to be fixed immediately, if it's something that you should budget for down the road, if a roof, you know, is halfway through its lifespan. Whereas an appraisal, they're going through to see if, you know, the financing is going to be there, or if the client's going to have to come up with some money if the home is overpriced, and they're going to verify things like the square footage. And I don't really look at the square footage, but I'm going to look at the furnace and see if it works, whereas an appraiser is just going to look and see, is there a furnace? So it's a little, we overlap in some areas, but the detail in what is looked at is quite different.
So would you recommend, I mean, when, if, you know, assuming someone's selling the house, someone's coming to buy the house, when in that process should an inspection be done? Should a seller do an inspection on their own before they have a buyer?
You know, it would help a lot from the industry professionals that I talk to, knowing what's going to happen in the secondary, the buyer's inspection would be good up front. If the seller also had an inspection, you know, I call it the 11th hour, you're down to the line, you're maybe 2 weeks away from closing, and you find out, oh, I need a furnace, or hey, the roof's bad. And then it really puts stress on the situation that's already stressful for a lot of people. And maybe as a seller, if you had an inspection, you would know what condition the house was in, and you could say it's an as is. We know that this needs to be done and the price reflects that. Or you could go ahead and maybe get it fixed and say, we've had an inspection, and from what we can see, the house is in good condition and ready to go. And I'm sure when you get your inspector in here, he'll say the same. So I think that a seller should do an inspection. In the market, things are going so quick, it's not happening. the other half of that question, I think every buyer should have an inspection so they know, because they're going to lose the opportunity on a huge investment, possibly the biggest investment they'll ever make, to at least know what they're getting into, or know that they shouldn't get into it to begin with. But I would say that you would get a home inspection before your appraisal. Just that's kind of helps with the flow, because there might be something in the inspection that could stop the deal possibly, and then you wouldn't have to order up the appraisal. I don't think an appraiser's going to find something that's going to stop the process and save the buyer any money if there is a problem.
Gotcha. I have one last question, and I think that's all we have time for, unfortunately. But things like radon testing, mold, how do those tests work?
Environmental testing, most home inspectors are doing that as a secondary service that they can add on with the home inspection. Radon is quite prevalent in Utah, especially along the bench areas where the ground's rocky. Radon's a naturally occurring gas, and it's there, so if a home does have it, it's great to know that it's there so you can remediate it and get rid of it. It is the second leading cause of lung cancer.
Oh, wow.
So it's a big deal. So it's something that can be taken care of quite easily. The test is simple, and for what it is, the remediation process, you know, for the life of the house is quite simple too. They can put a system in for around $1,500 that will go for 20 years. So year to year, it's really not that expensive. If you do have that problem, to get it remediated and taken care of. It is something that shouldn't scare someone away. It's better to know what you have there and just get it taken care of and move on.
Absolutely. Okay, well, for people who want to get in touch with you, what is the best way to reach out?
You can go to my website, tc-inspections.com, and they can schedule online there, reach out to me, I can message them back, so that would be the best way to get a hold of me.
All right, well, thank you so much for being here, Spencer.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.